In days of old, a soldier who showed great valour in combat would be knighted by the reigning monarch. As elite armoured warriors, knights were essential for defending territories and serving their lords. They were expected to be guided by a moral compass, a strict code of chivalry. Fast forward 1,000 years, and now knights look a bit more like this. This is Sir Keir Starmer, who in 2014 was appointed a Knight Commander of the Order of the Bath, a mighty warrior with a strong moral compass. Well, not quite. He was knighted for his services to law and criminal justice in recognition of his tenure as Director of Public Prosecutions. During his official dubbing ceremony, the Accolade, he was required to kneel before Prince Charles, an act of humble submission, loyalty, and service to a higher authority. In 2020, he became leader of the British Labour Party, and he apparently enjoyed kneeling so much he posted this on Twitter. "We kneel with all those opposing anti-black racism. Black Lives Matter," in response to the death of George Floyd in America. As we know, nothing screams strong, independent leader quite like taking a knee to a viral foreign political movement. It was a masterclass in modern political submission, showing absolute fealty to a fashionable, highly racialised cause. As Sir Keir knelt to BLM, they were out on the streets during the COVID pandemic, peacefully protesting. In fact, just 2 days before Starmer took his knee, protesters in Bristol tore down a statue of 17th century slave merchant Edward Colston and rolled it straight into the harbour. Take that, long-deceased historical figure. That'll fix modern society. The BBC practically celebrated the vandalism, running headlines declaring that the statue was an affront. But don't worry, the peaceful protesters were later found not guilty, with The Guardian triumphantly declaring BLM protesters cleared over toppling of Edward Colston statue. Ignore your eyes and your ears. Apparently, the statue was so deeply upset with its own slave-trading history that it chose to throw itself into the water. These people were simply there with their ropes, trying to save it. The irony here is delicious. This is a man who was literally knighted for his services to law, order, and criminal justice, yet less than 48 hours after a mob openly flouted the law and destroyed public property, the former Director of Public Prosecutions decided the most appropriate response was to have himself photographed kneeling in submission to them. There he was, in full corporate subservience, metaphorically bowing to a movement actively engaging in lawlessness and vandalism. I'm sure it is clear to you that he has truly upheld the moral compass and strict code of chivalry expected of a valorous knight. Anyway, he was rewarded for his bravery in standing with the rioters, vandals and lawless mobs, and was duly voted in as Prime Minister in 2024. In the first 19 months of his leadership, he successfully oversaw an increase in the number of illegal arrivals crossing the English Channel in small boats to more than 65,000. It is truly a remarkable achievement. Then there were his hugely popular winter fuel payment cuts, which he insisted would make sense to stabilise the economy, while simultaneously forcing 100,000 pensioners below the poverty line. But despite his heroic actions in kneeling for criminals and treading on the poor, that instinct for surrender never really left him. Sir Keir has just performed his final act of compliance. Facing a mutiny from his own backbenchers after a disastrous run of local elections, the man who loved to kneel has officially bowed out entirely, announcing his resignation as Prime Minister after less than 2 years in office. As the ABC noted, not even a landslide victory was enough to save Sir Keir Starmer's Prime Ministership, with reports widely describing an emotional departure for a man frozen by the challenges of power. So that's it. The brave Sir Knight, who once knelt to receive his title, knelt to BLM rioters, and knelt to the mutinous factions of his own party, has finally performed his last act of submission. The man who loved to take a knee has finally knelt his final good night. Good riddance.